Hi, today we're going to talk about general notary appointments, the type of questions that a notary should ask before setting an appointment, and the type of questions that a caller should expect to have to answer before setting the appointment. My name is Pat McGee, owner of Done Deal Mobile Notary here in Los Angeles. I am a mobile notary and apostille agent. Let's get right into it. When I say general notary appointment, I'm referring to the one or two documents that most of us have to have notarized throughout our lifetime. Just general things, maybe a healthcare directive, maybe a will, that kind of thing. And general notary work is a lot different than our specialized notary work. Let's take loans, for example. When I do a loan signing, a buyer's package, seller package, refinance, usually the appointment has already been set for me. I get the documents ahead of time so I have an idea of what I'm dealing with. The fee is already set and the signer has already been prepped on the IDs and other credentials that they may have to provide for that day. But in the case of general notary services, there is no middleman. So it's very important that the notary gets all the information that they need up front. The first question I ask is, who is signing? If the person that I'm speaking to is the signer, that's wonderful. But there are a lot of instances where that's not the case. It is not unusual to have one person call for another person. I'm calling to set up a notary appointment for my mother or for my parents. They need to sign a healthcare directive and or a will, etc. Okay, so in a case like this, the first thing I want to know is, can the signer sign? Meaning, are they lucid? Are they coherent? Do they know what it is that they're signing and that they will be signing some documents? Related to that question is, can they physically sign? A lot of people have the mental capacity. They know what they're doing. They know they need to sign. They're ready to sign, but physically they're not able to sign. And those people can still sign the document. They can sign by mark, meaning that they can put an X in the space where their signature belongs. But in order to do that and for that document to be legal, that person or that signing has to have two witnesses. And that's something that I want to make sure that the caller knows before we set the appointment. In a lot of instances, when you have a person calling for their parents, their grandparents, and they're looking to have a healthcare directive signed and or a will or some other legal documents, a lot of times those actual signers are in hospitals or in assisted living facilities. In most cases, the hospital or assisted living facility has a policy against their staff being used as witnesses. They're not allowed to do it. So it's not like the signer or their children can run into the hallway and grab a nurse. What valid form of ID will you be using? Again, I often run into situations where an elderly person is in assisted living and they no longer drive. They have not had a reason or a need or the ability to drive for some time. They won't have a valid driver's license, but they do have to have a valid government ID in order to have something notarized. If they don't have a valid government ID, then they're going to need two credible witnesses. And then again, we're back in the same position, the same situation. You can't just grab a nurse and ask them to be your witness. You have to have that lined up in advance. Another good question to ask is, what type of document is being notarized? I want to know that up front because certain documents, again, require witnesses. If the document is a will, for example, then two witnesses not related to the signer must be present for the document to be legally valid, even if it's being notarized. In most cases, power of attorney also requires two witnesses. How many people will be signing? It doesn't matter how many people are signing. It's just getting a lay of the land. You want to know how much time this appointment is going to take, and you want to make sure that everyone has a valid ID. But the biggest issue for me is I want to make sure that everybody's there when I get there. So I do ask the question, will everybody be there when I get there? I just want to set the expectation that everybody will be in place when I arrive. Where will we be signing? If we're signing at home, that's awesome. But most of the time, we're signing somewhere else. We could be signing at a coffee shop or something like that. That's fine as well. But in the case, again, of assisted living or hospitals, it takes extra time. You have to go in, you have to pay to park, you have to go up the stairs, you have to get a mask, you have to sign in. It's just more moving parts. If the signer is in a hospital, you definitely want to make sure that they're not highly medicated when you get there. Again, back to being lucid and coherent, which is tricky when you have someone that's in a hospital. As you can see, it's really important to know exactly what's going on and what's going to be needed before you get to the signing. And that's why I shy away from booking appointments automatically using Calendly or some other automated scheduling software. That's all I have for today. I hope you find this video helpful. And if you did, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, as I will be doing a weekly video on all things notary, apostille, and small business. And thank you for watching.